Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna jump right into the video. So we will be making some elderberry syrup, fire cider, some homemade ginger ale, and some cleaning vinegar. It's all the kind of things that I like to have on hand during the winter just to keep us all well. So after the video, after we're done with all of those things, then we'll come back and just have a little chat. Okay, first up we have our elderberry syrup. So we have some ginger, orange, Ceylon cinnamon sticks, rose hips, and of course our elderberries. And we're just gonna add the elderberries, rose hips, and cinnamon down into the Instant Pot. We'll peel the ginger, and all of the measurements for this recipe will be on the website, but I'll link everything below. I don't perfectly peel ginger, like making sure to remove every single bit of the skin, but I do the best I can. You do want to make sure it's nice and clean, so just wash it off really good before you put it in, but I think that including some of the peel actually has like a pretty good flavor. It changes it a little bit. So now we're adding some orange zest and cutting the orange so that we can juice it in there. And then I actually just drop the whole half of the orange down in with it. Adding some filtered water. Close it up. Eventually. Does anyone else have problems getting the Instant Pot lid on? And then we take it off. You can see it's been steaming in there. I let it actually steam with the lid on for a while because I feel like it keeps everything in. Kind of like when you are making like a medicinal tea and you want to keep something covering it so that the properties don't just evaporate out. And then we're straining it out. I press it through the sieve to make sure that we're getting as much out as we can. I forgot to record adding the honey here, but this is what I'm doing, is stirring the honey to combine. And you'll see on the measurements how much I add, but you can always add more if you want it to be sweeter. That'll also help thicken it if you want your syrup to be thick. Now we're just pouring it through a funnel into a recycled bottle. So now let's make some gentle fire cider. We'll take some more of that peeled and chopped ginger, some peeled and smashed garlic. We don't want to mince it, but you do want to just smash it with the side of your knife just to make sure that we're allowing the oils to release. And then we'll add some large chunks of onion. Tears are optional. And then cover all of that with some apple cider vinegar. I do strongly recommend that it's the organic variety with the mother. I usually use Bragg's, but there are also other brands that are good. And since we've got all this ginger, we'll make some homemade ginger ale. You'll add all of your peeled and diced ginger into a pot, cover it with water, and then bring it to a boil. You're basically just making a really, really concentrated ginger tea. And once your liquid has reduced by at least half so that it's nice and strong, we'll add some honey. Again, this is to your taste. I usually add probably about a half a cup, and then if I want it sweeter after that, then I just sweeten it with some stevia because I want some of the benefits of the honey without over sweetening it. So we'll add some cayenne and then some lime juice. And I add a little bit of the diced ginger into my jar and then take the rest out before pouring our ginger tea concentrate. And then that stores for usually up to 2 weeks, but usually it's already gone before then. So then when you're ready to drink some, you just pour a little bit into your glass with some plain sparkling water. And like I said, you can sweeten it some more with some stevia if you want. And you can always add extra cayenne if you want it to be really spicy. This is really just to your own taste. And now let's make some cleaning vinegar. I went and used some stems from my lavender plant because this is at the beginning of winter, so the lavender has died off, or the flowers have at least. So we're taking some of the stems. I know it looks like rosemary, but it is lavender, because even the stems and leaves have a really nice smell. It's just not quite as floral, it's more herbaceous. So we're adding those dried lavender stems and some mint and orange peels down into our jar, and then cover it with some vinegar. I just use regular distilled rice vinegar for this. And you'll see that I didn't quite have enough to cover it. You do want it to be covered. I promise you, I got some more vinegar and it was covered for the rest of the time that it sat. So it sat in the window for a few days, up to a week. And while it's sitting, just every day, just give it a little shake to make sure everything's staying mixed up really well and all is covered in the vinegar. And what I do is I leave it on my windowsill at my kitchen sink so that I see it every day, and then just shake it whenever. It's not like a schedule or anything. Just shake it whenever you see it and think about it. And then you can see how the color has changed over time. The liquid has gotten cloudy and the stems have kind of become muted. We're going to straighten it through a paper towel into the sieve because this is going to go into spray bottles later, so you want to make sure that there's no pulp or anything that would get clogged in your nozzle. So that's why I have the paper towel there too. So we'll strain it into a jar, and then whenever you're ready to make your actual cleaner, you'll add a cup of this vinegar plus a cup of water into your cleaning bottle. Add your nozzle, give it a shake, and this is just a really good all-purpose cleaner. Next up, we just have some daily wellness. So these are the things that you can do just every day to stay well. So we've got some chicken here. I'm making some broth that can be used in soups and stuff, and then make bone broth after this. But I've learned that if you just poach chicken, the broth from that is really healing also. And then here I'm just doing some sourdough starter maintenance. And as you can see, this is an example of just shaking the things as I see them. And now we're just cleaning up. It really is true what all of our moms told us, that if we just clean as we go, then it won't be overwhelming at the end of the day. And I've learned that to be especially true when you're maintaining sourdough, because as you can see, this jar is full of like the parts that didn't come out into my discard bottle, and it would have just been glue later. So just rinsing everything out and then cleaning it up. I'll put it on the drying mat, and then once they're dry, go ahead and put them away. So it just makes it nice. And this is part of my daily wellness, just because it's better for my mental health when I don't have a sink full of dirty dishes waiting to go into the dishwasher. All right, let's just chat. Okay, welcome back for just the little chat portion. I wanted to jump in on the tasks that we were doing, because I know sometimes, like, when you come to a video and you're just looking for the recipe or you just want to do the thing, then it's like you don't want to have to sit through somebody talking first. It's kind of like the video equivalent of scrolling through somebody's life story just to get to the recipe at the bottom of the blog. So I didn't want to do that. But I did want to be able to just kind of like sit down together and feel like we're just getting to know each other a little bit more. So this video was all about the different things that we do to try to keep our family healthy and well during the winter. I know that sometimes when we're sick, especially if the parents also get sick, it can get a little chaotic. It feels like if you are sick, then you need somebody to take care of you. You know, it's hard to remember the things that you're supposed to do, which I have a couple of friends that I text them like, tell me what to do. Like, I just can't remember. I can't think. My brain's not working right now. So it's also really good to have friends like that are understanding, and then you know that like they're gonna be texting you later, you know, it's fine. It all works out, right? So anyway, we had a really hard winter so far. Like, even though technically I think we were sick before it was officially winter, but we had like some flu and all of the big viruses and everything happening, and it kind of just felt like it was going on and on and on forever. And it was kind of interesting. Like, my oldest kind of joked about how it was like, once I got better enough to like function and come out of like being quarantined from everybody, it was like all of a sudden, like, I was like, okay, dosing out fire cider and elderberry syrup to everybody and like staying on top of everything, and then everybody started to feel better. So I'm trying to remember how she put it, but it was something like, mom's better and now it's just like war on the sickness. And so I just thought that was funny. But it also shows, like, you know, I mean, I guess on one hand you could be like, well, I was better, so maybe everyone was already kind of starting to get better. But I want to believe that everybody got better quicker at that point, because we were actually taking the things that help us feel better. So, and that's what all of these things were. We do elderberry syrup. Like, if you are sick, then I dose that out by, I think it's like, I'm trying to remember, it's like the little cup, that maybe 10 milliliters. I don't know. I just fill it to that, like, whatever the the highest line is on a medicine measuring cup. And I'll dose that once a day during the winter just to stay well. And if you're actively sick and fighting something, then 3 to 4 times a day. The fire cider I will do only if you're sick, and that's twice a day. And all of our healing broths all the time, especially when you're sick. It's like every meal you need to be drinking some broth. And ginger ale helps with the inflammation and stuff that comes along with being
sick, and also nausea if that's part of what you're dealing with. So yeah, that's the stuff that I like to serve everyone when we're sick. And I also like using that herbal cleaning vinegar just to keep germs at bay, to prevent getting sick. If you have one person who's sick, then you go into like super cleaning mode to try to keep everyone else well. And then of course, once everyone is well, doing a deep clean again. And vinegar is really good for killing all the germs without like the chemicals and stuff that like I know bleach also kills germs, but it also wreaks havoc on my sinuses. You know, there's lots of reasons not to use bleach, but like personally, that's one of my big things, is anytime I'm around bleach, then like for the rest of the day I can't smell anything. It's so weird. So yeah, so tell me in the comments below if there are certain things that you do that are your go-to steps, like action steps, whenever you or somebody in your family are sick. And yeah, I think that's it. So I'll see you next time. Bye.